When we think about value streams in Lean, it's a little more nuanced than what we did in Six Sigma when we looked at process maps. Typically, value streams in Lean, they provide a lot of value precisely because they intersect. They give us an ability to look at multiple perspectives on our process or our system at the same time. So for instance, we often think in healthcare about following the patient around or the activity of the process. What happens to the patient when they're in our system? You can almost imagine doing a Lean event where you literally go out with your clipboard and follow patients around all day to see what happens to them. And they go through a series of actions as they go through. But what we learn in Lean is that the patient isn't the only thing you want to be able to follow around. You might want to simply observe a piece of equipment, maybe an endoscopy scope, to see what happens to it over the course of the day. How often is it clean? How often is it used? How long does it take to use? You can do a value stream for almost anything, not just patients, but the actual activity of machines and equipment and facilities as they go through the process. The important thing in looking at these value streams is that they actually intersect, they interact, if you will. So someone following a patient around and someone else watching an endoscopy scope all day will at some point be looking at the same thing, that patient receiving an examination using an endoscopy scope. So for that moment, those value streams intersect and are on the same action, then they each go their separate way, again to be followed by whoever is following them. So it's the intersection of value streams that really provides the nuance and complexity that our systems will be able to handle over time. It's more than just a process of patients and machines. You could also think in terms of following the activity of the operator. What's happening to the physician and where are they going? How many patients are they seeing? How much time between patients? How do they prepare? What kind of information do they have? When do they take their notes? So you can follow many, many value streams in the same healthcare setting. And once again, they tend to interact. So at some point, the physician you're watching is using the endoscopy scope someone else is watching to treat or diagnose a patient that someone else is watching. So for that moment, for that activity, the value streams intersect, and that's where value is created in the system. The complexity of the system comes from the interaction and the scoping of these different value streams as we go through. There's multiple dimensions to that. In fact, this is one of the reasons that in an analytics course, we learn about dimensional data warehousing, because each of the value streams, each of the perspectives that we might use in our analysis of our system ends up being one of the many dimensions that might be used in our analytics for understanding the data and the flow and the transactions and the events that govern that. But a lot of the value add, and therefore a lot of the potential for inefficiency and error, takes place where these value streams intersect.